Good morning. If you want to see how we restored this big oak, solid oak coffee table with a hewn top, stay tuned because that's what we're going to do today. Good morning and welcome to the Memphis Monday 187. Last week we restored a table we didn't have. Well, this week we're going to restore a table that I don't exactly know what it is. I couldn't find it exactly on the internet, but I have kind of guessed that it's in the country cottage style coffee table, and it's got a hewn surface on the top of the coffee table. It's a solid wood, solid oak, and it looks like it's going to be a pretty fun project. Let's go get over there and knock off the chatter, see what kind of problem we got. This is the hewn top I was talking about. Usually these hewn top tables, you know, they take an awl, some kind of a chopping tool, and they chop out gouges in it and give it a hand tuned effect. Well, in this case, this thing was built in a factory, and it looks like they just went through there with a sander at 60 degrees angles one way, and then 60-degree angles at the other way, and left this bubbly edge here. Its biggest sin is that the corners have been chewed off by a dog on pretty much all four corners, but this is inch-thick oak. There's about 5 boards across there that have been probably put together with dowels because it's a pretty good glue up, and the rest of the table, the bottom part of it looks pretty good. You can see in this view that the legs and the table frame are in pretty good shape. The legs aren't loose, and the thing is just absolutely rock solid. It's basically that top that needs to be worked on. I guess the logical way to fix this would be to, cut an inch off the width and an inch off the length, and then put some trim around the outside to bring it out to its original size. But I think I'm going to try something different. Adding trim to around the edge would change the look of the table. So what I'm thinking about doing is shortening the width and the length by comparable amounts, but then reducing the size of the frame a comparable amount, so that the proportions of the table won't change and the look of the top won't change. So that means all I got to do is cut off 2 inches from this frame piece and 3 inches from this long frame piece. Let me show you the complication. The complication is that I can't just simply whack off the needed amount, in this case 3 inches. I have to, because these corner braces right here are set in little angled rabbets, so I'm going to have to duplicate that after I cut it off. This frame is glued in place. You just saw me cutting these 45 degrees angles in these for the table jig. I'm going to build a table assembly jig this time. So in here, right here, is just a board that's cut exactly to the right length, and so I know that everything's squared away here. I got those outer boards on. What I'm doing now is, remember these frame boards, they don't go all the way out to the edge here. They're inset, I think in this case about 3/8 of an inch. So this is the spacer. It's just a piece of 3/8 inch OSB. And it goes right in there like that. And then that piece we just cut goes right in here. Okay, let me get all the rest of them cut and we'll be on a roll. That was me cutting these little corner blocks. I'm reusing the old corner block, but the old ones had a different angle on them. Okay, so these go in here like this. Now I need to put pocket hole screws in the sides here so I can attach them to the frame. Let me show you how I do that. To cut these angled holes into the side here, I use this little jig. It not only sets the angle the right way, but it's got these little springy sides here, so I can, it'll kind of hold it into place. So once the block is down in the jig, I've got those two holes set. I got this stopper here, so it'll come down and go the exact correct depth. Okay, here you can see the frame pieces all lined up in the jig. See, the jig allows you to make sure everything is square and plumb, and it gives you, a backing surface when you try to screw those screws in. And what I'm doing is I'm just going to go around with a contrasting color here and mark where I want the pocket screws. Here you can see there's one of those vertical connection holes, and I'll put a pocket screw there, and then down at this end down here. So I'll take each individual piece out of the jig and take it right over and put the pocket holes in the side. Okay, I've tested my setup. Okay, these are just about perfect pocket holes. You got plenty of meat right here for the screw to go into. Okay, now I put the pocket holes in there. So let's insert this piece. Tell you what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and attach this piece to the tabletop and make sure all of our screws work. Okay, these screws on the left are the ones I took out. They have standard slot head, and These little ones were used for the corner blocks, and they have a Phillips. I'm replacing these. I'm going to use these pocket screws. These original screws, they go way down in here and they're recessed. Problem is I couldn't even reach them with a screwdriver. Had to, okay, let's put these vertical ones in. Now I'll put the pocket screws in. Okay, same procedure for the corner blocks. Put the pocket holes in. Pocket screws. And then I have two horizontal screws to put in. When I make my tables, I don't normally attach the corner brace to the tabletop, but they have in this case, maybe because the legs are big. It's got those big bowling pin legs. So I got all the screws in there. Now, if our theory is correct, we should be able to take this table frame off and have a perfect table frame. There we go. And of course, none of this matters if this leg doesn't fit. Let's give it a whirl. Seems to. I'm putting a little polyurethane on it. This is poly. It's not it's not spar varnish or anything, so it should dry pretty quick. I got the fan on it. Once the bottom dries, it should take about an hour or so to get it where I can turn it over. Now I'll turn it over and we'll work on that top. It's probably the last time we get to see the bottom. But you can see the benefits of using that table jig. See how everything looks perfectly square and aligned. I don't think anybody could look at this and really distinguish it from a factory installation. This is actually my B52 drying system, and particularly for polyurethane, it actually works pretty good. I'll tell you the truth, I don't really like the look of this top, but that's the way it is. That's how they built it. So I'm just trying to reproduce it back where it was. Well, there's our nice little coffee table. The only thing really wrecked was the top. But in order to fix the top, we had to completely remanufacture the thing. We shortened the frames. We changed out the screws they had with pocket screws, and we added some pocket screws. We sanded the whole thing down and put the same finish back on it. Well, that does it for another Memphis Monday 187. Today we rebuilt and restored a coffee table with a hewn top. That was totally new for me. We basically completely remanufactured the thing and then brought back we sanded it down, but then we brought it back to the same finish. think it was a pretty interesting project. It was something new with that hewn top. Can't think of anything else. Like and tweet and follow and comment and Facebook and all the stuff you do on the internet. But most important, make sure you're back here next week for another exciting Memphis Monday. Thanks for playing along.